All right, well, greetings everyone from Boise, Idaho. Today, I'm going to talk about a collaboration to monitor and conserve the world's raptors. But let's start off talking about the state of the world's raptors. There are 559 species of raptors around the globe. This includes 236 owls, 234 hawks and eagles, 64 falcons, 16 accipitrid vultures, 7 cathardid vultures, and 2 seriamas. Of these, 386 are non-threatened, 70 are near threatened, and 103 species of raptors are threatened with extinction globally. This is according to the IUCN Red List. So that's 31% of all raptor species are either threatened or near threatened with extinction. That's nearly a third. Of these, 17 are critically endangered. These include 8 accipitrid vultures, which are listed as critically endangered due to plummeting populations. And the rest of the species are listed because of their small populations. So raptor conservationists face both the declining and the small population paradigms in dealing with these imperiled species. Going back to our 559 species of raptors, 15 have unknown population trends, 49 have increasing populations, 203 have stable populations, but 292 species of raptors around the globe have declining populations. This is 52%. Over half of all raptor populations are in decline. And these include least concerned species. So 38% of the least concerned species are in decline. Now, raptor researchers can boast some of the greatest conservation successes of all time. And I don't want to take away from that, but to keep up with all the threats that raptors face right now, we have to rethink how we operate. With half of raptors in decline, a third threatened, and 17 critically endangered, the challenges we face are absolutely daunting. But if we come together, I think we can rise to this challenge. So we at the Peregrine Fund decided we would change the way that we operated. We want to increase our collaboration. Not only do we want to be more collaborative, but we want the entire field of raptor research to be. We need better information sharing. This means more open data and literature. We need to set priorities, determining which species need help in research more than others. And finally, we need better monitoring. We need to keep a finger on the pulse of raptor populations. And I'm certainly not the first person to say this. The Multi-Species Action Plan for African and Eurasian vultures states that range-wide monitoring is essential, and I couldn't have said it better myself. IUCN lists the priorities for monitoring of each raptor species, and the most listed priority for raptors is populations. Similarly, they also list priorities for research, and the number one priority there is population trends. So this is IUCN telling us that they need help determining the conservation status of the world's raptors. Now, with these 4 things in mind, we decided to expand, modernize, and combine 2 of our existing programs. The first is the African Raptor Data Bank, or the ARDB. It was started by Habitat Info and the Peregrine Fund in 2012 to ascertain the conservation status of African raptors. And our plan is to take the data collection and storage capabilities of the ARDB global and combine it with our Global Raptor Information Network, which was started by Lloyd Kiff in the late 1990s. And this really was, it started as a website that was really ahead of its time. It was a forerunner to websites that we use all the time, like Birds of the World and ResearchGate. Now we're going to combine, we're going to update and modernize the Global Raptor Information Network, take it global, and then combine it with a global and updated version of the ARDB, or the African Raptor Data Bank, to become the Global Raptor Impact Network, or GRIN for short. So I get asked a lot, why change the name? Why go from an information network to an impact network? And what the heck is an impact network anyway? Well, these are all great questions. We changed the name because we want to make it clear that we are not going to monitor these birds into extinction. Instead, we're going to directly impact conservation. So every data point that we collect and every analysis we undertake is specifically designed to impact the conservation of the world's raptors. I also get asked, what is GRIN? Well, it's not just a mobile app or a website or a database. It's a collaborative platform to collect, store, analyze, and distribute information about nocturnal and diurnal raptors. So let's talk about how we collect data. The best way to get data into GRIN is through the mobile app. It's available for free on the Google and Apple app stores, and it's a great tool for data collection during raptor surveys. That's because lots of people have a phone in their pocket anyway, and that phone has a GPS and a calendar and a clock. So it can record when and where you are going around and surveying for raptors and when and where you happen to see them. You can also record what they're doing. So just using the phone that most people have in their pockets anyway, raptor researchers around the globe can record nest checks, mortalities, road counts, aerial surveys, migration counts, marker resite data, dietary data, and even behavioral observations. Now, there are many programs out there doing great work to collect data on raptors, and we're certainly not trying to supplant any of them. I get asked a lot, why do we need another data collection program for raptors? And the answer is that instead of being another monitoring program, we provide a platform for all raptor monitoring programs to collaborate and pull their data and monitor raptors globally. We're also working with the Global Anthropause Raptor Research Network, or GARN for short, and the International Biologging Society. They're soliciting data to study the effect of the COVID-19 anthropause on raptor biology. Petra Sumas-Gutner gave a presentation about this initiative yesterday, so if you missed that, make sure to check out the recording. We're working directly with these groups to share data, so don't worry. If you're working with them, you're also helping us to monitor the world's raptors. Another program that I hear a lot about is eBird. I get asked, why do we need GRIN when we have eBird? eBird is probably the world's largest bird monitoring program, and it works by collecting birding checklists. So it essentially turns birders into citizen or community scientists. And it's an amazing program. I tell people, if you're birding, I hope you're eBirding. In fact, they make their data freely available, so we use eBird data all the time. But GRIN's a little bit different because it is specifically for raptor surveys conducted by raptor biologists. So whereas eBird uses birding checklists, GRIN can take advantage of nest checks and mortalities, road counts, aerial surveys, migration counts, marker resite data, dietary data, and behavioral observations. So raptor researchers can collect their own data while collaborating to monitor the world's raptors. Individual researchers can take advantage of a free data collection app, free storage, and free customer service. And a great example here is Chris McCall. He's a PhD student at the University of Queensland with the RARES group, and he's using the GRIN app to collect his own data. And in doing so, he's collaborating with us to monitor the world's raptors. We can also get data from MoveBank, which is a repository of telemetry data. I know many of you have GPS tagged birds, and if you're storing your data in MoveBank, you can easily share your data with us. A great example of a group sharing telemetry data is the Eastern Golden Eagle Working Group. They shared data from nearly 100 GPS tagged eagles in Eastern North America. Many raptor researchers conduct road counts for raptors, and the GRIN app is a great tool for those road surveys. In fact, there are over 200,000 kilometers of road surveys in GRIN. I used it on a road trip from Boise to San Francisco, and this is an actual screenshot from the app. You can see that in just one stretch of highway, I saw a red-tailed hawk and a golden eagle. When I got to the hotel that night, I could view, edit, and download my own data online. I can download a CSV either from my phone or the online portal and analyze the data myself. Turns out that we saw 168 individuals of 11 different species. Now, I understand that a lot of folks already have a data collection method that they like, and so the app isn't for everybody. But you can still partner with us to monitor the world's raptors just by sending us your data in a spreadsheet. A great example here is our partner Rapaces Bolivia and our good friend Diego Mendez. Diego sent us a spreadsheet of over 10,000 observations of raptors across Bolivia. Those are data that we can put right to work to impact conservation. So here you can see the locations of data that we've received through direct contributions and the mobile applications. This doesn't include data from the literature or telemetry or eBird, because there would just be points everywhere, and that wouldn't make for a very good map. But here you can see we have pretty good coverage. In some places, less coverage than others. In other places, you'll notice that we don't have much data from Asia. But if you are collecting data anywhere on this map, we need you as a partner. Let's work together to monitor and conserve the world. So we need to talk about data sharing. We do share our data, but there are restrictions. We understand that not everybody wants their data to be shared, and raptor data can certainly be sensitive. So this is a screenshot of the app, and all you have to do to mark your observation as confidential is to tap right there where it says no, and it will say yes. And then your data will be considered confidential. This means that your data will only be shared with staff of the Peregrine Fund and our direct collaborators. So we will only share confidential data with people that we are directly working with to monitor and conserve the world's raptors. And we won't share it without your permission. We also consider nests, threatened species, and birds on eBird's sensitive species lists as confidential. So again, we'll only share these data with folks we are directly working with. We also have a data policy where if your data constitute at least 10% of any analysis, then you will be invited to contribute as an author on whatever comes out of it. This means that you cannot be scooped. So don't let a fear of being scooped or of someone using your data without you knowing it be a reason not to work with us. So that's how we collect data. How do we store it? Well, we store it in the cloud. We use Esri and AWS's backup and security services. So if you share your data with Grin, you can take advantage of cloud storage where it's super backed up and firewalled so that your data will be safe and secure. So that's how we collect and store data. How do we analyze it? We perform analyses with the goal of directly informing the IUCN Red List. And there are three ways that you can do that. You can calculate population size, a range size, and a percent decline. Let's talk about range size. Remember that the Eastern Golden Eagle Working Group shared their telemetry data with us. Well, our spatial ecologist, Jeannie McCabe, developed a new model that had never been used on telemetry data before and applied it to the eagle data. These models produced monthly distribution maps and redrew the range map for golden eagles in North America. So here we're looking at the movements of the eagles throughout the year and their model distributions. Here they start off in January and they winter in the Appalachian Mountains. It is now April and the birds are moving up north to their breeding grounds in Quebec. It is now July. August, the birds are going to start moving back down south for the winter. So if you have telemetry data, we can incorporate them into Grin and we can use Jeannie's models to estimate the monthly distributions of your focal species. For his dissertation work, Luke Sutton used Grin data to estimate the range of the harpy eagle. So there you can see the Grin range in blue and the Grin data are represented by the black points. And you can compare this to the IUCN range, which is the orange polygon. And according to this analysis and using the GRIN data, we actually showed that IUCN was overestimating the range of the harpy eagle by 32%. That's almost a third. It includes a lot of excess area in eastern Brazil. So we showed these maps to IUCN, and they were great about it. They redrew the range map for the harpy eagle. See, now the range excludes that mostly unoccupied area. So these are GRIN data and analyses directly affecting the red list. Luke is now a postdoc working with our friend Jason Ibanez at the Philippine Eagle Foundation to calculate both the population size and the range size of the critically endangered Philippine eagle. Now, this is a great partnership because the Philippine Eagle Foundation has collected lots and lots of data, but they don't have the time or the resources to analyze it all. So we can get those data into GRIN and not just affect the red list, but also influence how the government of the Philippines drafts legislation to protect critically endangered species. Again, this is GRIN data directly impacting conservation. Now, remember, there's a lot of road count data in GRIN, and many of these programs, these road count programs are conducted over several years. This means that road counts are a great way to examine the third thing that IUCN takes into account, the percent decline. And this is where Brian Roleck's work comes in. We partnered with the Pennsylvania Society for Ornithology to analyze more than 15 years of road count data at over 200 routes across the state of Pennsylvania. Here you can see the starting points of each route, and you can see that they have a great coverage across the state. Now, for 13 species, Brian developed a new model to account for the fact that the faster you drive during a road count, the fewer birds you will actually observe. To my knowledge, no one's ever accounted this in road counts before. So here, you can see that for each species, as speed increases, the number counted drops. So we highly recommend that folks try and account for speed during road counts. And GRIN has this ability. Brian was able to incorporate this effect into trends in abundance of 13 species across the state of Pennsylvania. So check out our paper in IBIS or send me an email if you have any questions about that. We're also developing analyses to combine inference from multiple monitoring programs into a single population trend. An example is these two programs. So the East Cascade Audubon Society conducts a winter road count survey for raptors across the Pacific Northwest of the United States. The National Audubon Society conducts the Christmas bird count across North America. These two programs use totally different methodologies, with the winter raptor survey driving along roads and the Christmas bird count counting all of the birds that can be found within a 24-kilometer diameter circle. So this is just as an example, let's look at the red-tailed hawk in the state of Oregon in the United States. According to the Winter Raptor Survey, there is a 70% probability that the population of red-tailed hawks increased from 2005 to 2016 across the state of Oregon. Now, according to the Christmas bird count, there's a 72% chance that the population increased from 2005 to 2015. So we've got two lines of evidence that the population increased over this time frame, and they both agree that there's about a 70% chance that the population increased. It turns out that we can put the trends on the same scale by looking at percent changes. And then we can calculate an average trend, which we call the Composite Population Index, or the CPI. Now that we've combined our two lines of evidence, the probability that the population has risen actually goes up a little bit to 78%. So there's a 78% chance that the population of red-tailed hawks across the state of Oregon during the winter increased during this study. So we are developing the ability to take all kinds of disparate data sets and put them to work monitoring the world's raptors. So that's how we collect data, we store it, we analyze it, but we still need to distribute this information or we aren't fulfilling our role. And one of the best ways that we can distribute information is through our website. Leah Dunn is working to revamp and modernize the GRIN website, globalraptors.org. This will be your one-stop shop for information on the conservation of the world's raptors, and it will feature the artwork of Bryce Robinson in his studio ornithology. Bryce did all the artwork that I've presented tonight, or this morning, so make sure to check him out. GRIN's website will be home to the Research and Conservation Priority Index, or the RCPI. This index was developed by Evan Beakley at Hawkwatch International and his colleagues, and it basically ranks raptor species according to their research and conservation priority. The way it works is that it uses a fancy equation to incorporate the red list status and the research attention that a species has received into a single index of conservation and research priority, or the RCPI. We're currently working to recalculate the RCPI and take into account evolutionary distinctiveness. GRIN will also be home to scoping reviews of the world map. These reviews distill research conducted on a given species or topic. So for example, Harpy Eagle researchers will be able to visit the GRIN website and see all of the research published on the Harpy Eagle, categorized by topic, country, and time of year. GRIN is still hooked up to the Peregrine Fund's research library, which was again started by Lloyd Kiff. This is one of the largest ornithological libraries in North America. It contains 23,000 books and reports, 30,000 reprints, and 1,500 journal titles. So you can go to the Peregrine Fund's website, fill out a form, and we'll scan and send you material from the library. So that's GRIN. GRIN is a collaborative platform to collect, store, analyze, and distribute information about both nocturnal and diurnal raptors. We recently published a paper on the past, present, and future of GRIN in the Journal of Raptor Research. It's open access, so go check it out. This was a collaboration between 36 authors across 18 institutions spanning the globe. So we are serious about our collaboration here at the Global Raptor Impact Network. And just to round this out, GRIN helps to increase collaboration by having a free mobile app, a shared database, and analyses that combine data sets from disparate monitoring programs. We also help with information sharing through our website, through our library, and by conducting scoping reviews of the world's raptors. We do priority setting by affecting the red list and by calculating the RCPI. And then finally, GRIN helps us to keep a finger on the pulse of raptor populations, but only if we all work together. With raptors in trouble around the world, it will take a global collaboration to monitor and conserve them. And hopefully GRIN can help us do that. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in and seeing this talk. I want to bring up this map again because each one of these data points represents someone's hard work. I really appreciate everyone working so hard to conserve raptors around the world. And I want to thank the Asian Raptor Research and Conservation Network for having me here today. If you want to get in touch, if you'd like to collaborate, you can just send me an email, cmcclure@peregrinefund.org. And of course, you can always follow me on Twitter. And with that, hopefully I have time for questions.